All right. This year, I commit to God by reading at least one chapter of my Bible at least 3 times a week. And my commitment to my family is to do the chores I'm asked to do, and also just the ones I see around the house that need to be done. And to be nicer to my sister by respecting her more. And so to my team, I commit to do extra work outside of practices that the team has. So they'll work on home, working on my snaps, and working out and stuff like that. And I also commit to working my hardest that I can on the field and off the field. And, obviously I'm not the biggest guy, but I'm playing center, so not to try to get down whenever there's some huge guy that I've got to block, but to keep going my all and trying to block them. And to pray for at least one of my teammates each day, and to just pray that they'll have courage and fight through the season.
This is Christian Graham Maxey. I'm very proud of him. He represents all of his names very well. Christian, obviously, because that's his belief and his family's belief. Graham, because that's my in-laws' last name. And obviously Maxey, because he represents our family very well also. It's been a tremendous blessing to be able to coach Graham in football. I've coached him in other things too, but in football especially, for the past 5 seasons. In fact, he's the one that got me into coaching football. When I tried to get him to play flag or anything else other than tackle, and when he got to the 5th grade, he said, "Okay, now I can play tackle. I want to go play tackle." I said, "Great." I supported 100%. And he said, "So," we live in Flower Mound, he said, "So I want to play in South Lake." I said, "What?" He says, "Yeah, I got a lot of friends playing in South Lake. I want to play football in South Lake." I said, "Well, son, it's hard enough to get you to and from practice if you're playing in Flower Mound. To take you to South Lake is out of question. You're going to play in Flower Mound." He was very disappointed, shook his head, and walked off. He came back 15 minutes later, and he said, "Dad, I'll make a deal with you. If you coach the team, I'll play in Flower Mound." I've been coaching football ever since. What a blessing to me. Now, I'm a negotiator by trade, and I can see that he's learned that very well. A couple years later, he'd been in karate for about 4 years and wanted to quit. I said, "No, Graham, you committed to be a black belt, and that's what you're going to be." He shook his head again, came back a couple of weeks later and said, "I'll make a deal with you." I've gotten to learn that when he says, "I'll make a deal with you," I'm going to be the loser. He said, "All right, you come do karate with me and I'll stay in." So we got our black belts together. What a blessing. I mean, he's brought me along with him and blessed me in so many ways. Now, many of you know that being a coach's son is not always the easiest path to take. And so I thank Graham for bearing with that burden. The Bible says that there will be adversity. And before this season, Graham came to me. He said, "Dad, you know what? I'm going to be one of the smallest guys on the team. Clearly not the fastest guy on the team. This is going to be a tough year." And I said, "Well, I'm glad you recognize it. You hadn't had your growth spurt yet. Things are going to get better. So you just have to persevere through this season. You have to do your best, and you have to make the best out of not a perfect situation." And that's what I've seen him do. He lines up, as he says, at 130 pounds, looks across the line. Sometimes there's a 210, 220, 20-pound guy there. A couple of games ago, scrimmage actually, Bobby, before the game, before we knew where anybody played, walks up to me and says, "Did you see number 6 over there?" I said, "Yeah, I saw him. Why?" He says, "Well, he's bigger than I am." So I said, "Oh, I'm not worried about size." And then the whistle blew and kickoff. Everybody went to the line. He turns to me and says, "He's lining up right across from Graham." I said, "No, I'm worried about size." But Graham's taken on that adversity, and he's fighting through it, and I'm extremely proud of him for doing that. Graham knows, because I tell him probably more times than he wants to hear, how much I love him. But I just want to reiterate how much I love him. So stand up and let me give you a hug.